All right, let's get this recorded. And we'll give everybody maybe like 60 more seconds to hop in here. Maybe. Okay, team, while we are waiting, go ahead and do me a favor. I know most of you on this call. Some of you have already joined Residency being on this call, and I'm excited. I'm excited, one, that you're taking your Saturday morning to spend with me so I can tell you about this idea that I'm really excited about and kind of tell you the origin stories and how I think it could really help our community. And two, I'm excited to get to know those of you that I may not have touched base with yet. Most of you are familiar faces on this call for me. But if you want to pop in the chat where you're from, that'd be awesome. Maybe you can meet a new friend. Maybe you meet your new business partner in the chat. That's how Laura and I met. Was was in certification and subsequent calls. But yeah, pop in the chat where you are from while we let our last minute friends hop in. Louisiana, Massachusetts. Rachel, we were just in Connecticut. I was in Connecticut yesterday. Literally yesterday. It's beautiful in Connecticut this time of year. It was stunning. It was so fun. We were there for a short and sweet little trip, but I came home to tornadoes and a thunderstorm last night here in Texas. It was pretty intense.
Oh no.
But happy to report the weather is just cloudy this morning, I think, out there. Joshua, Texas. Jenny, I drive to Dallas, Fort Worth quite a bit, and I've never heard of Joshua before. Is that a small town? Smaller? I don't know where you are on my screen. Maybe your video's off.
Yes,
Oh,
just
hey, there you are.
just off of, it's a little town just off of 35. You have to travel about 15 minutes west of
Okay.
35.
I was like, I live off 35 too. You and I live off the same interstate. I'm also 10 minutes off of 35, but just closer to Austin. That's funny. All these little tiny towns
Yes.
in Texas. There's
Yes, and
also
the sun's
Shelby.
shining here, so hopefully the sun will shine
Oh,
more.
yeah, I hope so. Did you guys get the weather last
We
night?
did.
Yeah,
We did.
it was super loud, super loud. Okay, team, let's get this party started. Thanks for being here. I am, yeah, like I said, just super stoked. It's like hanging out with my friends this morning, getting to tell you about this cool new idea that I came up with about 6 weeks ago and get to tell you all the nitty gritty details. And I'm excited to hear what you think about it. So I actually, oh, I also tried a new thing today and I'll let you in on it. There's a presentation tool called Gamma, Gamma AI. And I took my script or like not my script, what I wanted on my slides, like the words I wanted on my slide, and I copied it and I pasted it into Gamma AI, and it made this wonderful presentation for all of you. And I'm really excited to show you it because I think it turned out pretty cute. There's some cartoon nurses on here that kind of make me giggle a little bit. And there's only one spelling mistake that I cannot fix. And let me know if you find it because it can like irk you too. It just wasn't enough for me not to use it because the rest of the presentation turned out so cute. All right, team, here we go. All right. And bringing my little noties here. Okay, great. So I should get sponsored by Gamma AI before I go promoting them. Shouldn't I? Huh? I think it turned out really cute. All right, team. So this is been my recent obsession in the past, I don't know, 8 months on how do we make our current business programs even better? What is the common barrier or like mindset thing that our community is experiencing right now? Our community is growing and evolving. And so I've been just really paying attention this past 6 months in particular on what you guys are saying, what you are telling me about, what is getting in the way of bringing your dream, your private practice dreams to life, or your organizational dreams to life. And I have gone back through our programs to restructure them to meet the needs of our community as is right now. And for those of you who have been in our bubble for a while, the nurse coach residency is the upgraded version of Make the Leap. So if you've heard me talk about Make the Leap before, this is going to sound really familiar, but there are some new little bells and whistles a part of this program that I think are going to take it over the top. And I'm excited, especially Nancy Barlow. I see you on this call today. Nancy Barlow has been with Laura and I since like the beginning of time. So I'm particularly interested, Nancy, in what your takeaway is. She's watched us grow from little baby business coaches to where we are today, which has been really fun. And I'm excited to hear what you guys think. Okay, so you guys did the hard thing, which is get certified, but a lot of you tell me that something is still missing for you. Okay, so you've earned the certification, you've invested time, energy, money to become a certified nurse coach, and this alone, team, deserves a celebration. I think that the more nurse coaches we have in the world, the better place it will be, the more emotionally intelligent, more regulated, more resource nurses we have in the workforce, whatever that looks like, is for the betterment of society as a whole. So I do want to pause and celebrate all of you who are in certification or have graduated. This is a big win for humanity. If I can be a bit dramatic about it, I think this is a big win for humanity as a collective. Okay, but yet something is still feeling off. A lot of you are still not 100% sure. You're certified, but not confident yet. And there's a gap between what you know and how you will feel facing real paying clients. A lot of you are feeling confident coaching for free, but whenever money gets involved, I watch the panic go across everybody's face and like, can I really do this? Am I good enough? And the biggest question, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? How do I know if I'm doing this right? This doubt shows up in every session, making you second guess your instincts and your abilities and the process as well. And today, I hope to change that. I hope to reveal like why this is going on and then hopefully give you a path forward that I think is really effective and helpful on what to do next. Okay, so you'll have a clear roadmap by the end of today on what we're gonna do next. So we're gonna understand this mastery gap. We are going to learn what builds true coaching skill. I'm gonna share a little bit of research with you guys, and we're going to talk about residency, the bridge between where you are now into coaching excellence. Okay, so this confidence gap is not just made up. I have real data on it. 80%, 80% of our community feels underprepared after finishing certification, not necessarily to coach, but to have real paying clients. There's something about it because we've never done it before, because we have feelings. It feels weird. It feels potentially icky. Like, how do we sell coaching? But there's a piece of us that feels unprepared for real paying clients. And what is also really funny to me, team, is that Laura and I, for our NLCA grads, which is most of you here, we give you our business training course. And I have had so many calls with our grads, and no one opens it. No one opens our course. So people come to the calls with me and they're like, Shelby, I feel so confused. I feel so overwhelmed. I feel so unprepared. And I'm like, well, yes, because you haven't opened this amazing resource that we have for you that explains everything. But sometimes I think that being or feeling this overwhelm or the sense of newness again can often stop us from even utilizing the best resources. Like, it's this mental gum that just gets stuck in our brain that we cannot not get out of, and then we can spiral or even freeze. But then still this question, team, am I doing a good job? Who am I to do this? This is just the little buzzing fly that is flying around most of your brains. And I want to assure you that confidence is born from practice. Mastery is born from getting feedback on your coaching calls. And I want to pull those two things apart. Confidence is born from practice, from reps. Think about when you were a baby nurse coach and you were like doing your very first pro bono session ever versus how you feel today. You probably feel more confident in your skill right now. And mastery is born from feedback, having a more experienced coach look over your shoulder, give you some tweaks, And then also the third piece here is deep reflection. Sitting down, watching your calls, reading the transcripts, being pretty critical on where you could do better and where you're doing really well. A lot of people try to fill this gap with more credentials or more certificates. And what we are really lacking here, team, is integration. Okay. It's not more learning, it's like actually putting your learning into practice. So if this is resonating for you, put an emoji in the chat for me so if I can know that I'm on base here. Yes, yes. Okay, cool. Beautiful. Also, how do we like our little cartoon nurses over here? I think they're cute. Okay, so this is I love telling stories, but I only took one slide to tell a story today. So why residency exists. I remember this phase of my coaching career. It almost feels like it was yesterday. I graduated certification and I signed a couple of paying clients, and I kind of expected that the confidence would simply appear, that I would simply know what to do, that I would feel less shaky and I would stop sweating as much during sessions. I would go into like a full blown like nervous sweat every time I got on a call with any of my paid clients. And I, frankly, y'all, was not great at coaching in the beginning. Like I knew the theories, I knew the frameworks, but putting them into practice was really challenging for me because I was so nervous, because I was pretty unregulated in my own nervous system at that time. And I really didn't need more information like I thought. I really thought that if I could just learn the right skills, that I could be better at this. Or like every other coach knew something that I didn't. And what I really needed in that time was repetition with feedback. My coach was really great for a lot of things, but I think one thing she did not communicate to me well was the volume of repetition needed to feel more comfortable and the volume of repetition with feedback needed to actually be a great coach. And I want to be super transparent about that with you guys. Both of those things are important. So here's a little blurb of research I want to mention. Repetition alone builds familiarity, okay? But if you're just flying high and doing reps without any feedback, it can actually reinforce mistakes. So it's faulty. Feedback turns repetition into growth. This helps you detect errors, it helps you correct your performance, and it also helps refine your understanding as well. Every time I get a resident that sends me a coaching session for feedback, I watch it. And of course, I have feedback to give, but I always start by asking, what was your interpretation of this session? What did you do well? Where did you want to improve? And I can usually tell if one of our residents is being too hard on themselves. Like I know perfectionism runs pretty rampant in our nurses as well. And there's a difference between holding the bar of perfectionism and giving feedback to truly get better here. Studies show that retrieval and feedback can double long term retention compared to just simply repetition alone. And retrieval here, team, like reminding you of the skills that you've learned in certification, how to ask deeper questions, how to hold that silence, how to have a deeper presence, how to assess for clients' readiness. If you get feedback on it, it helps your attention span and your long term retention. So, this cycle of practice and feedback, then adjustment, then more practice is called deliberate practice, and it's actually what creates mastery. How many of you guys have precepted new nurses on the floor? Yeah. And you always get a little nervous of the new resident who is just a little too confident. You're like, you are not asking enough questions. You don't know enough to be at this level of confidence yet. And we kind of like have to help them tap the brakes because they're just vibing high. They're excited. They're there. They're ready to go. They're ready to get the reps in. Like, put me in. Put me in, coach. I can do it. And you're like, actually, no, you can't. We need to like go outside the room and we need to talk through this first before you just get in there and put gloves on and start doing weird things. So, this is why we built the residency team. Nurse coaches can get the supervision that all of you have told me over and over and over and over and over. This is the number one thing that everybody wants. We want structured reflection practices, which you already get inside the preceptorship course. And we want to help you get the reps in to make that confidence inevitable, to make the mastery inevitable. We just don't want you to get like repeats in to get the reps in just to get the reps in, but we want to help you refine it. Repetition gets you in the game of entrepreneurship and of coaching, and feedback makes you great. Okay, this next slide is one that I usually share during our residency program, but it's just kind of a timeline or a high level view of what it takes to be in private practice and to normalize some of the phases that don't feel like super great. So building a successful practice is, of course, filled with challenges. It's new. You guys are fresh, new entrepreneurs. And these 9 phases here, we got 9 of them, they are predictable. And I want to make them predictable so that you do not get discouraged. I want to normalize the struggle here so that you can also anticipate hurdles and equip yourself with the right strategies to move forward. And in residency, we help you at each one of these stages so that you don't quit. Your highest risk in your first 18 months of entrepreneurship is that you're going to quit because it's harder than you thought it was going to be. And the chances of you quitting are really high if you don't have some kind of coaching support in your corner. It doesn't have to be me necessarily, but having a coach to remind you of your dream and your vision whenever you want to kick rocks is very helpful. It's the only reason I'm sitting here in front of you on a call, to be honest. It's because I paid for a coach and I paid a lot of money for a coach and I didn't want to waste my investment. And that's what kept me going whenever it got really hard in the beginning. Okay, so phase 1, you are completely invisible in business world. No one knows you, your messaging isn't resonating, potential clients don't know you exist, and no one values what you offer, and no one engages. This might be where some of you are today, and it is okay. I know that sounds negative, but we all start here. Laura and I started here. Every successful coach we've ever mentored starts here. Phase 2, people start engaging with your content, maybe even reaching out, but when it comes to committing to an actual coaching relationship or even a coaching conversation, they consistently say no. The conversation happens, but the conversion doesn't. Okay, phase 3, we start like getting a little bit of traction here. Clients are booking calls, which is great, but they cancel beforehand. And this is so frustrating. I ride this phase a lot with our residents of we ride the high, someone booked and then they canceled an hour before or they canceled the day before. This phase is emotional by nature, and it's helpful to have someone in your corner being like, hey, you didn't do anything wrong. People just people, and this is okay. We'll go find another person. Phase 4, we're starting to attract interest. People are showing up, but you're not confidently inviting them into a deeper coaching relationship, aka proposing coaching contracts. You might be afraid to sell, unsure how to articulate your program's value effectively. Okay, so now you can see we are progressing. We're getting farther down the timeline. This is now where you might get the nerves, get the balls to say the proposal out loud, and they say no, which also stings, team. You've done harder things, but this does sting. And it's a part of the process so that you can learn to get good. at proposals. We have so many resources inside the course on how to do this well, but ultimately you can only read it so many times before you have to get out there and like go do it yourself. And that's where the real integration and learning happens. Okay, my least favorite, people say yes and then they disappear. This happens to me all the time in Nurse Life Coach Academy, like probably 20 to 30 times a week. This happens. People are like, I'm in. And then they just peace out. And I never hear from them ever again. I also want to potentially remind everybody here or let you know that this is not, I know this is a linear numbered line here, but it's not linear 100% of the time. You can be in many phases at once. All right. Phase 7, you're successfully coaching people, but you might feel drained and directionless about your own practice's future. You're giving a lot to others, but you might be feeling lost or overwhelmed in your business development. This usually happens after you've made like 10 or 15K and you're like, oh shit, this takes a lot of energy to maintain. This is bigger than I thought it was going to be. Had many of those moments. Phase 8, we transition into it being feeling more engaged and fulfilling. Clients are saying yes, but they show up. They're fully committed. They achieve great results. You feel energized about your practice and it feels purposeful and sustainable. This is both where you and your clients thrive. In phase 9, this is when people finally start seeking you out. This is where word of mouth becomes the primary resource in your business. They are saying yes before they even get on the call. Your reputation and your unique value proposition precede you, creating a seamless ideal client acquisition process. And I want to point out here, team, each of these phase buildings, they flow naturally. They build on top of each other. You cannot skip the first 5 phases and just go to phase 9. There's no secret hack. The only secret is that everybody who's at phase 9 has been willing to put in all of the effort and repetition necessary in all the other phases to get to phase 9. And many coaches, many entrepreneurs, I think this could apply probably to any business ever, just underestimate what it takes to get to stage 9. And I bet you're underestimating it right now. Even as I'm telling you that, you're like, oh, Shelby, I hear you, but I'm special or I'm different and I love you. But I am in all 9 of these phases every single week. Every single week. And so if I told you it was going to take 5 years or 10 years, would you still want it? Would you still want private practice? Would you still want the dream, either full-time or part-time? And if the answer is yes, I want to highlight that only phases 7 through 9 feel really good. The rest of the phases are to help you build your strength and resiliency and your grit. But if the answer is yes, hang in here with me. I promise this presentation ends on a high note. Okay, team. So this is the MESS framework. This is how I teach you to sell inside of the residency program. This is how you can sell coaching. And I'm going to walk you through it right now so that you have an idea of how to do this. When you guys do it with a one-on-one client, this will be more highly curated, but I'm talking to 20 of you right now. So it's a little more generic. All right. So these are the 4 pillars that bridge this potential fear that you might be feeling and this lack of confidence into confidence and mastery. We work on these 4 things inside of the residency program: mindset, energy, skill set, and strategy. I just alluded to having your own private practice is harder than you think, but discomfort, we are trained, we are conditioned as a human race to think that discomfort means that something is wrong, when actually that just means we are growing. If you are comfortable in entrepreneurship, then that means that we are probably on our way to the exit door. The longer you are in business ownership, the longer you are a professional coach, you will learn to live on the edge of your comfort zone. It will become your new baseline. You will actively pursue it. You will be worried if things feel too cozy. And this doesn't mean that we have to like chase toxic positivity or personal development just until the ends of the earth. But if you want to be a professional life coach, finding your edge often in different areas of your life is required. Mastery requires the capacity to hold failure, to hold rejection, and your next evolution at the same time. I often think about new nurse Shelby or new nurse coach Shelby and how I just so desired to just want to get to coach all the time. I didn't want to deal with all the other BS. I just wanted to coach all the time. And if I could go back in time to 5 or 6 years ago and hand her 15 paid clients, I would have crumbled. I did not have the capacity to hold it. I did not have the confidence to navigate with 15 paid clients at a time. I would have been completely swamped. So, all of the repetitions that I've done over the years, all the creation, all of the workshops, all of the hundreds of people that I've coached over the year, if someone gave me 15 paid clients tomorrow, I wouldn't blink. I would know exactly what to do, even if they all had different goals: business, health, wellness, finances, marriages. Like, I would feel 100% ready to roll. And that only came because I was willing to put in the time and the effort. Okay, energy. Without energetic discipline, ambition becomes burnout. Team, I know most of you are leaving some version of burnout or misalignment, and we don't want to recreate it here, but we cannot sustain a bigger dream, a bigger reality with the same nervous system that we have here. So, taking time, self care, grounding, boundaries, recovery time, they are no longer luxuries for other people, they are infrastructure for your expansion. It's the only way. I took about 2 years at the beginning of my practice to intentionally heal from some burnout while also building my new reality. Okay, skill set. You, I love this quote. You do not rise to the level of your potential. All of you here on this call are exceptional. You are amazing. I have a special place in my heart for all of you here right now on this call, but you will not ever rise to the level of your potential because it doesn't exist. It's just a what if. You will fall to the level of your repetitions. It's making peace with what is and what is reality. Most coaches never do the volume necessary to get great at their skill. There are other accreditation bodies, team, outside of the nurse coaching universe. International Coaching Federation is a benchmark that Laura and I keep a pretty close eye on. It's where we draw a lot of inspiration from because they have higher standards for their coaches, and we want to incorporate that here for you. And in order to be a master coach, you have to have like more than 5,000 hours logged. That's many, many years under your belt. I am personally just creeping up close to that number of hours, and I've been doing it for 5 years or for 7 years. Coaching skill mastery is built through the repetition, the reflection, and the feedback. It is not built off of inspiration. Okay, team. And finally, strategy. We cover this pretty deeply inside the course. You can't scale chaos without systems. Your business is emotional and not operational. Strategy turns your coaching into a repeatable, predictable craft. In residency, we really focus on short game strategy. I'm very transparent about that. We are learning to build the skills that make you money in 30 days. And there's a medium game strategy and there's long game strategy, and we do cover those. But for the first 4 to 6 months of your business, it is only short game strategy that we need to learn and get really good at. And that's what we do. Okay. So, where are you guys at? Where is your biggest gap right now? Kind of looking at these 4 things. Where would focused attention create the most transformation for you? And feel free to just pop it in the chat for me. Skill set, strategy. Yeah. Skill set and strategy. Perfect. Amazing. Thanks for sharing, guys. My predictions were correct. Awesome. Okay, so I want you to just hold where your gap is right now. Just be aware of it. We are not going to fix it in the next, 60 minutes here. But to really drive this home, team, I want to use a nurse metaphor here really quick. And when you are a new nurse, not even a new nurse coach, but when you are a brand new baby nurse, you just graduated nursing school, you're on the unit, remember how there was this moment when you get onto the floor and you're like, oh shit, they didn't teach me anything about being a real nurse. They like all of it was textbook and theory, and no amount of reading can ever prepare you for your first IV start, for your first code, for your first conversation with a grieving family after hard news. You had to do it. You had to be in the room. Your preceptor had to grab you by the hand and pull you in and say, hey, this is really gnarly, but I want you to see it. And you had to feel it in your own nervous system in real time so that you could fumble a little bit, so that you could course correct. And the nurses around you were watching you over your shoulder. You were the risk on the unit, and they were able to sharpshoot and help you. They could see when you were drowning. They could pick up the slack. They could give you feedback. They could help you pop in that IV on the hard stick. And that's exactly what these coaching reps are that I'm dying on a hill for. That's what they are right now. They are your clinical hours for transformation. So every coaching conversation builds muscle memory. It builds your ability to hold silence without rescuing or fixing people. It allows you to create a relationship with your intuition instead of the script, the 10 questions you have written by your computer before every coaching session so that you can be prepared. We help you get off script and more present into your calls so you know when to challenge your client versus when to soften with your client. And just like nursing, the goal is not perfection, okay? Competence under pressure and calm presence when things get real is what we're after. Whenever your client comes in hot and they're crying and they're dysregulated and you don't know what to do, I want you to be the same every time. I want you to be a grounded presence every time. I want you to be able to hold the storm every time. There will be many times where your clients have to borrow your nervous system to regulate. That's a beauty of humans and how we are designed. We are designed to spend time with other people. If you guys have friends in your life and you're like, man, I always just feel so much better whenever I hang out with her. We didn't do anything. We went and got coffee, but like I feel better. My soul feels more at rest. That's what you're doing for people here. It is part of your job to come in grounded and confident and competent. And I cannot just like tell you to do these things and expect you to be like, all right, Rachel, you got it? Great. Go get them, sport. Like, that's not how this works. It comes from doing the repetitions with people, from spending time with humans, from showing up, being willing to make mistakes, and learn to trust your hands, your hearts, and your instincts. Okay. These 4 things. This is how we do it. This is how we learn it. But that's like what it's all for. Okay. Onward. I want to share a little story from our current residents that just started like in September. So we teach in residency to evaluate your coaching calls. I have you record everything. And phase 1 is for you to review your own script. And she immediately popped in our Telegram chat afterwards and was like, y'all, I think I bombed it. That felt terrible. And I could tell that she was in a bit of a spiral. So I asked her, I was like, hey, go watch your replay and then let's debrief. Like, go do your evaluation card and then come back. Like, if you actually really sucked, I really want to know. But something tells me that you probably didn't. And so she went and listened to her recording and she came back and she was like, I actually did pretty good. She said my mind was lying to me the whole time, but the recording showed the truth. That's when I learned to trust my feedback over anxiety. Okay. This is self-evaluation also in Make the Leap. I evaluate some of your calls as well. Um, but you can see how perfectionism is sneaky, sneaky little bugger here. It's just way better to know. Always watch your recordings. All right, here's another one. So, another one of our residents that just started last month was I teach you guys how to like not over explain your offer, how to propose your offer and hold some intentional silence here to let your potential clients think. So she proposed, she paused, she didn't justify, she didn't apologize, she just held space. And um she zipped her lips and her client said, "Okay, I'm in." There was no "that's too expensive, I can't afford that." But she was like, "Yeah, this has been life-changing. I'm all in." That's really how simple proposals can be. They're not always this way, but they can be. And confidence isn't about having all the answers, but it's about trusting yourself in the space between questions and the response. All right, team. This is a bit more of a personal transformation someone shared in our chat earlier. Um, but she said, "I'm finally shedding the old parts of me that feared judgment." This was in relation to showing up on social media. This coach wants to use social media to build her business, but then she was like putting on a mask and showing up on social media, and she was wondering why it wasn't landing. And I encouraged her to be a little bolder, be a little braver, and we did some coaching around this. And so, whenever she started showing up more authentically online, she also noticed that she started showing up authentically everywhere, at work, in her marriage, and with her clients as well. And this is why, Lauren, I tell you, we've said it probably a trillion times on the podcast by now, but entrepreneurship can be a healing modality. It requires truth, it requires authenticity. If you want to build a business that you love and that you love showing up for, it requires you. And the more you that you can be in every room that you walk into, gold star. That is the point. To create safety, to be you everywhere. Residency is the personal transformation through professional practice. When you learn to hold space for others, you learn to hold space for yourself. And the confidence that you build here ripples everywhere. It ripples into your day job, it ripples in to your parenting, it ripples into your marriage. Every moment that you would have shrunk back from before, you tend to lean in and face head on, which leans to more fulfillment. Okay. Certification teaches the what, models, theories, frameworks, concepts, the foundation of coaching knowledge. And residency, we teach the how. Staying present in discomfort, holding energy when clients spiral, debriefing and growing. And also, really importantly, too, team, I want you to earn money while you are learning how to do this. We have very, very clear and transparent financial goals inside the residency as well. And we want to shift from knowing how to coach from like an intellectual standpoint into being a coach. Okay. So, how to stay grounded when clients' emotions fill the room, how to hold loving space without fixing or rescuing, how to trust your intuition when your script runs out or you go left instead of right. And most importantly, how to reflect, integrate, and evolve after every single session that you have. Knowledge lives in your head, embodiment lives in your nervous system. Residency creates opportunity for embodiment. You need both. You need both. For everyone on this call, embodiment is what you're after. Okay, here's some nitty gritty details. Oh, before I get into this, if you do not want me to sell to you, I'm going to invite you off the call now. We usually don't do group proposals or anything ever like this on workshops. But if you are interested in residency, you want to hear the price, you want to hear what's a part of it, all the things, stay tuned. But if you're like, this is not for me, don't waste your air, Shelby. Please jump off and enjoy your Saturday. But that's my warning here. Okay. Inside Nurse Coach Residency, so we got 6 parts. We got coaching labs, case huddles, mentor hours, small group coaching, Telegram community, and individual supervised sessions or supervision sessions. We have a lot. We have a lot going on in residency. And I am so excited because when I look at this screen, I see all of the opportunities for you guys to learn more coaching skill, to learn from one another, and some really heavy hitters of individual supervision sessions to where we're going to sit down with you. We're going to say, like, hey, Melissa, this is where you're shining really hard. Here's where I think that you are not living up to your potential. Here's where I think you can lean in. Or, Diana, you are in residency with us. So whenever I watch your calls and be like, hey, Diana, you're giving advice like a lot. How do we not do that anymore? Giving advice is something nurse coaches do kind of as a second nature, but we help you. We help you with these things. Also, team, if you want to submit proposals, you can. So it can be coaching hours or proposals that you do, which having someone watch your proposal and be like, hey, you broke the tension here, or you over explained, or you got nervous and I could tell, like, can we make a few little tweaks and polish here? You're just going to get better so much faster. And then we're going to leverage the collective genius in the room. We're going to do some coaching labs, we're going to do some case huddles. Um, all of these components are just going to make you an epic coach in the next 16 weeks. All right, so our next cohort starts soon ish. December is orientation. We start live calls in January, and then in April, we will graduate. December 16th is orientation. So if you want to mark your calendar, it's a good date to have. And I want to share some numbers with you here too, team, because it's all fun and games. Laura and I are pretty crazy about getting feedback, about tracking progress, about just making this really black and white so that you know what you're investing in whenever you choose to hire us. And these are recent cohorts since June of this year. 72% of our residents signed their first paying client during the program, not after. I was mentioning this number on a application call the other day, and she goes, Shelby, what about the other 28%? And I was like, yeah, it's because they didn't do anything. Like, and that's harsh. I know it's direct, but they did not participate. They chose to be a fly on the wall. So 28% of folks, and that is pretty standard for a lot of coaching programs. But I would love for that number to be 100%. So if you guys want to be in my January cohort, that's going to be the goal I assign for the January cohort as a benchmark for us to hit. 100% report higher confidence. We get about 25 coaching hours a piece during residency, which is coaching roughly 1 to 3 hours a week is our goal. And we have 100% recommendation, which is great. All right. Why I think residency matters. You can't learn coaching from a module. You can learn coaching skills from a module, but you can't learn coaching mastery from a module. We need to get you out in the field. We need to have you coaching as much as you can personally tolerate with your schedule. The more we eat away at your next 100 hours of coaching, the better. You learn by doing, and you're going to learn faster with the right support. So coaching real people, receiving honest feedback, and integrating that wisdom into your next session, you're just going to be better and better every step of the way. In residency, where this all becomes real, I remember this is like, I hate telling the story because it's a little embarrassing, but right at the end of my certification, Laura and I had been peer partners, and she called me kind of out of the blue one day, and she was like, hey, are you going to start? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, I know, but you're not doing anything. Like, are you going to start? And it like hadn't clicked in my brain yet that like I needed to begin, like that this like business private practice thing was not just going to happen to me. I had to become an active participant in the creation of it. And I don't know, it's like the lights flipped on from being in zombie mode, and here we are. And so I'm Laura calling all of you on the phone being like, hey, if you want this, now is the time. You have to lean in. Now is the time for you to jump in. Okay, team. So let's talk investment piece prices here. Standard tuition is about 5K for the 16-week experience. If you are an NLC graduate of ours, we give you a fast action scholarship, $1,000 off. If you purchase by next Saturday, we will give you a $1,000 off, and it brings it down to 4K. And we only take 15 people into this cohort to keep it high touch, to also make sure that I can keep up on the coaching recordings and things like that. Me and Amy Frame co-run this space together. So you get two coaches in this space, and we share the calls. We both give you feedback. I think this is a total advantage to all of you because Amy and I coach differently. You are able to leverage both different skills, different perspectives for your practice. Also, I want to tell you guys about some cool things. We got two prep calls coming up on November 6th and December 8th. So if you enroll within the next 7 days, you get access to these prep calls. They are calls with me. We're going to be doing some mindset work. We're going to be doing some work around fear, just kind of like extra support for you guys as we wait for orientation. You're going to get early triad coaching access. So you will get partnered up with some peer partners of yours to start working and meeting together, coaching one another. And, oh, team, this is supposed to be not by March. That's supposed to be by January. A lot of people ask me this question of, especially when you're joining something so early, of like, what if I change my mind, essentially. And I believe that in order for coaching to work, that referral or refund policies kind of can't exist. I think that if you're going to be all in and follow it all the way through to the finish line, learn how to execute. However, team, sometimes you say yes to something and then life explodes. I had two residents this past cohort where life genuinely exploded in ways beyond their control, like straight out of the movies, freakish things. And they were still showing up the calls and they were still putting in the reps, but they were like limping. They were limping along. And that's kind of where this confidence guarantee was born. That if you join early and you put in the reps between now and January, and then you tell me, Shelby, this ain't it, I'm not ready, something happened, I will put you in the next cohort. I will put you into the spring cohort of the residency, no problem. So we coach you for longer. Okay? Does that make sense? I know this says by March, but this is supposed to say by January. All right. If you guys want to join, book a call with me. We've got some space this week. And I'll put this in the chat for you. You can book a call with me if you're like, I actually don't need to talk to you. I just want to purchase. Cool. Message me. Message me. And then, but if you want to talk to me just to make sure that this program is the right fit for where you want to go, happy to do so. All right, friends. I think I got 2 more slides here. Oh, yes. I want to address potential some little voices that are inside your brain right now. One of them being, I don't have the time. Life is really busy. We're heading into the holidays, all the things. I get it. I understand. Time is our most precious resource. And this is the one that I'm hearing the most often is like, oh, it's just not the right time right now. So if you're juggling a nurse job, your family, a full life, adding one more thing can feel impossible. But I would rather rephrase this statement of I don't have time and offer like what could change if you actually made time for this. Like if you were going to go back for a master's degree right now, what conversations would need to happen? Who would need to be looped in? How would you carve out time to make that happen? This is no different. This is no different. Okay. Also another one of my favorites. I can't afford it. I totally hear you. And team, if you cannot pay your basic bills, mortgage, groceries, gas, then residency is not for you. I don't want to put you in a hard spot to be able to cover the bare bones of what it takes to live life. And this skill, I hope to help you completely return your investment in 16 weeks. We can make $3, $5, $7,000. And it has not been my experience that most nurse coaches can do this on their own. They usually end up burning a lot of time instead of making income and making forward progress. And then I'm not ready. Am I ready? Anyone else like to get ready or prepare to prepare? Yeah. So if you are waiting to feel ready, you will just be waiting forever. Confidence does not come before we take action, it comes because of action. Okay. We build readiness inside of residency. We build your capacity in residency. It is not found. You don't download it. There's no morning routine that will ever cultivate readiness. And here's my thought-provoking question here. If circumstances were perfect, would you do it? And what is the difference between a perfect circumstance and what you have right now? It's usually not much. All right, team. Here's some more words from our residents. Residency gave me the structure to finally feel like a real coach, not someone who's pretending, someone who actually knows what she's doing. I stopped overthinking every word and started leading sessions with ease. The feedback loops made all the difference. And then finally, I finally trust my intuition in coaching sessions. I know when to ask, when to listen, and when just to hold space. That is the gift that residency gave me. So this is real feedback that we've had this year from our residents. All right, team. This is, if you want to screenshot it, go ahead. You have 7 days to let me know. That 7 days is chosen with intention because a lot of you like to think about it. And if you got to think about it for more than 7 days, it's probably a no. And I would just like to let you off the hook. So that 7 days is chosen with intention so that you have those conversations, that you ask for the help if this is something that you really want. And so that it doesn't like go on forever. All right, friends, your purpose deserves mastery. You became a nurse coach to make a difference. You became a coach to change lives at the deepest level. You don't have to stop just at certification. Your calling is important. Your client's transformation is valuable, and your potential is powerful, is too powerful to let self-doubt hold you back. I would love to support you in this next chapter. My dog is snoring big time. I don't know if my mic is picking it up. Sounds like a freight train. But yeah, this is your invitation. If you were looking for a sign, I hope this is it. And I, again, really just feel like having, if there's any way I can support you in these next 7 days of like, how do I have this conversation with my partner? How do I fit 8 hours a week into my already full schedule? Like the nuance and the logistics of it. If there is any support I can be offering you guys right now, loop me in. I am here. I am good at this. I'm really good at this. Okay. That's the nurse coach residency. I'm so excited to get to share this with you. Thanks for listening. Do you guys have any questions? Yeah, Brandy, go ahead.
Is this something we can do if we don't graduate until the end of January, or should we wait until the next go
Oh,
round?
that's a good question, Brandy. Where are you at in your pro bono stuff right now?
Starting my fourth.
Okay. Do you think you could be done with your pro bono coaching by the end of December?
Um, maybe. I can't say 100% because I got a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah. So I think that's my biggest like caveat is I have people in residency right now that started that were in cohort 3 of NLCA that started 6 weeks before graduation and they did totally fine, but I was also really transparent with them in the beginning of like be as close to done with your pro bono work before we hop in here. Just because you kind of get in this weird spot, Brandy, of I can't propose to my pro bono because I told them it was pro bono and then I'm telling you to get paid for your coaching. And so it's just a little extra tension that we can avoid if it's a little bit more streamlined. But if you want to have like one client left by the end of December, that would be a good benchmark to shoot for. And then we'll probably do another residency in the spring as well. Does that help, Brandy, or did I leave you on more of a cliff?
No, that was good because yeah, there's just life, and I just want to be sure
Yeah,
I would have time without anxiety.
yeah,
You know.
it's fair. It's fair. And I've seen in the past, not recently, but in the past, of people like putting too much on their plate and then we can't really like fully experience anything.
Yeah.
So, um, be present with the FOMO team. If the fear of missing out is supporting you right now into making the leap into residency, awesome. But if the FOMO is like fueling a panicked decision of like, oh, I don't want to miss out, like deep breath. Well, the train will come back for you. I promise. Yeah. Yeah, Melissa.
So, a couple questions.
Yeah.
Similar to what Brandy said. So, if we put a gap from graduation to maybe later in the year when you're doing this, um, is that just because of obligations I know that are happening in the next year that I worry about being able to fully show up to do
Mm-hmm.
this? Um, is that going to make this less helpful? Would it be a better thing to just say, bite the bullet, figure it out, and continue on from this cohort into this
Yeah.
residency and then just continue? Is that the most effective um, stream? Because like starting in March would be awful. Like it would have to be after July
Yeah.
that I would do that. So
Yeah. Oh. This is so personal. This is so personal because there's one side of the coin, Melissa, that's like figure it out. Life's always going to be crazy. And if this is something that you really want, we will figure it out and it's going to be messy and uncomfortable and all the things. I think waiting indefinitely to be able to like participate 100%, it's like, I mean, can you participate 80%? Because 80% is still really great. You know, it doesn't have to be. I hear that a lot of like, I want to be able to give this 100%. I'm like, that's not possible because life will always be demanding something of you. So even if we can give 75%, it's better than the zero we're not going to give otherwise. And whenever people will tell me, like, I'm moving cross country or I'm going on a safari or I like this once in a lifetime trip or whatever, they got like a big, huge life transition. I'm like, hey, maybe we just wait until that chapter is fully closed and then we can like crack open this can of worms. Does either one of those resonate more with you, Melissa?
well, I look at the timing, like the transition and big things are gonna be happening like May, June, July, the big
Mm-hmm.
bulk of stuff, which I know there'll be some chaos for me kind of leading up to it. But like I either do it now or I know I would have to wait.
Yeah.
Because the other question I have when I hear you talking about this, like the proposals and coaching calls and things that you're doing, is is that all pro bono coaching calls? Because I guess my question is if I have, let's say I've got a paid client, and then I
Mm-hmm.
say I need to record this so that it can be, so I can watch it back for improvement? Like, is that a barrier that people are experiencing? Because I can see people
Nah.
being like, I don't want you to record this. Where's it, like that hesitation?
Sure. Yeah. And if people don't want you to record, then you simply just don't. I would say 90% of the time, Melissa, people don't care. And then we can tell them, you can ask them, I'm like, hey, I'm getting feedback on my sessions from my mentor. Is it okay if I send this to them? And they're allowed to say yes or no. But agreed, there are some personality types that just don't want to be recorded, and we can totally respect that. You don't have to challenge them on it. And 90% of the time, people just don't really care, like at all. Um, and I will say one thing too, Melissa, that as far as graduation time goes, I have seen, and this isn't a hard rule, so if you guys fall into this bucket, please don't freak out. But if you can time business coaching and support near graduation, we tend to be able to like pick you up on this elevated spot and keep carrying you forward. And it's just not as hard. We get to like leverage the good energy from, all the momentum that we have brewing here. It's great. And we'll be done by May. So like the bulk of the learning, the bulk of all of that you'll have it, and then we can like do this really crazy thing over the summer. Um if you wait, the momentum just naturally slows down. And I don't really want to frame that as negative, but just more of like as a truth. So then when you like hop back in the driver's seat, there's a little bit more warm up time, if that makes sense. Um, and we can be strategic about it either way, but that's just what I've noticed trend wise over the years. I coach around both. People come into the residency at both times and we make it work, but that's just what I've noticed.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Crystal, I see your question. Are there other times for a call available? All the calls are in the evening, so they're on Tuesdays in the evening or Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central for 2 hours. Holly, you got a question for me?
Well, I don't recall if you were the one that mentioned this to me or where it came from, but I just wanted to mention real quick as far as what Melissa said. I think we've talked about it as far as people being shy of being recorded. Some of them liked it when you offered it to them as a tool for them to reflect on
Yeah.
themselves. So I just wanted to remind you, I think you're the one that told me about that. And I did have people that liked it.
Yeah, that can totally be it too. Um, Absolutely. 100%. There have been a few times where I've had a really good idea in a coaching session, but then you kind of get like coaching amnesia and you're like, I need to go back and hear my own wisdom, and having the call available has been helpful. Hey, Rachel, what's up?
Sorry, I'm pushing all the wrong buttons.
That's okay.
Um, so I know you said the actual calls themselves are 2 hours in the evenings, but
Yeah,
I'm just kind of curious, like what you would say the weekly time commitment is
8
during
hours.
8 hours. Okay, thank you.
Yep, 8 hours. 8 hours a week. And
And
I'm
that
looking
I would
up.
assume would include like the time we're doing calls with clients and things, some of the things
Yep,
that we're already doing, or I'm
yep, you
already
got
doing,
it.
I guess I would say.
You got it. So our weekly call is 2 hours, and that's a part of the 8 hours. Hopefully, you're coaching 1 to 3 hours a week, which is 5 hours there, Rachel. And then I know that this doesn't feel like a lot of time. Nurse coaches are really good at spending time on the wrong things. That's why I like to keep that time really tight and be like, hey, if you are working 40 hours in your business every week, we are working on the wrong stuff. Period. End of story. So it like that number's very intentionally curated, and 2 to 3 hours a week of connecting and inviting, Rachel, of like having conversations with real humans, inviting them into powerful conversations, coaching. That is that 30-day short game strategy I was talking about. That's what we are after here. And have you guys heard the phrase of working in your business versus working on your business? Yay, kind of. So, coaching is working in your business. It's like the deliverables of your business. We are moving the needle forward with your clients, working with your clients. That's working in your business. Working on your business is medium game and long game strategy. So like in-person networking or going to networking events or like having a booth at a fair or email marketing or making an ebook or hosting workshops. Those are all medium and long game stuff that we have information and resources on inside of our course. And I actively recommend people not do that. In fact, I get my residents all the time that try to get squirrely and sneaky. I had someone last week that was like, "Oh, I'm just working on my long game stuff so that I can work on my short game stuff." And I was like, "Hey, no, you aren't. You are going to put that down and you are going to come back and you're going to do short game first. And then you can go play in long game land if you have extra time." And she did, and she has calls booked this week, and she didn't last week. But like our brain is just so slippery. We're like 2-year-old toddler status, and we're just actively trying to run into the middle of the road, you know? And I'm here with all of you on kid leashes trying to pull you back on the sidewalk. Like, stay focused. Send me your coaching calls and watch your demos back. But yeah, good question, Rachel. All right, Jenny.
Okay, uncomfortable question for me to ask, but want to ask it.
Yeah.
Do you have any financing options, or is it just pay in
Yeah,
full?
we do. We do.
Okay.
There's a payment. We have an in-house payment plan that is like half down, half in 30 days. And then we have if you want to use Afterpay or Klarna, Jenny, you can. I think, and this is also helpful in y'all's private practices as well. Stripe is the payment processor that we recommend, and you can leverage Klarna and Afterpay for your clients as well. So they can put themselves on payment plans through a third-party financer, and you still get paid in full, which is preferred. So we do have those two options as well.
Okay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
good question. Yeah. I also too, we use a calendar team, and they updated their design, and I don't know how to see it. Our call is either Tuesday or Wednesday, and I wish that I could. Amy and I have changed it. But it's from 5 to 7 p.m. on Tuesday or on Wednesday.
It looked like, hey, this is Colleen. It looked like Tuesday
Oh,
since I just looked at it.
Colleen, thank you. Thank you. I was
Tuesday.
like, it's in my calendar. I can't see anyway. Yes, Colleen, thank you for that. And the times on discovery times, Crystal, let's see. Maybe, maybe not. If not, I can add some. Do, do, do. It looks like I got a couple in the late afternoon, but Crystal, what day do you want in the evening? And I'll put some times on the calendar for you and you can book it if you want to let me know what day works for you in the chat. Thursday. Thursday. Let me make sure I can actually deliver on a Thursday. Oh, I got another master class on a Thursday. Can you do any other days? Or you and I can also ping offline. Crystal, you can message me. All right, team. Any other questions here? Feeling good? Okay. Thanks for sending your Saturday with me. Whenever I had the idea to create the nurse coach residency, I was sitting right here at this desk working on some make the leap like feedback, and it just like hit me like a bolt of lightning. And sometimes I don't know if those ideas are like actually good or not. And so I called Laura immediately and I was like, before I get too excited about this, does this sound like a good plan? Does this sound like a good idea? Does this sound like the next right move? And she was also just as excited by it. And Amy was just as excited by it. We are kind of in that precious spot, team, to where we're starting on the 7th. That's when like our first warm-up call is. If you want to be a part of this and there's anything missing and you're like, man, this would really make it a 10 out of 10 for me, let me know. Like, let me know. We're in that phase of like program development to where it is molded in clay but not written in stone. I feel really good about all the components of it, but if there's anything that I am not seeing, holler. I'm all ears. I'm all ears. And Crystal, my friend, I will touch base with you. I'll text you and we'll figure out a time to meet this week. I could totally do Thursday. I'm just actually hosting a business training course for the deep coaching community over at Leon's Center for Transformation. We co-hosted a retreat with him a few months ago, and I get to host a business training for his people over there. But I bet we can find a time this week to figure it all out. And I hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. And that's what I thought too, Nancy. I went through a new nurse residency when I was a baby nurse back in like 2012. And I was like, nurse coaching needs a residency. Why not now? Why not us? We can totally do that. Oh, one thing I haven't talked about yet. It's not official, but I'm planning on having CEUs for this course as well. So I'm meeting with our advisors to be able to do that probably next week or the week after. And if that is important to you, you're spending the time with me anyway. I would love to give you like all the credit we can for it. I just don't know like the number of CEUs quite yet, but I'll let you know when I know. Cool? All right, homies. I will see you on the flip side. Thanks for being here. Go have a good Saturday. Bye.